Hello, I'm Birgit from the Crystal Ball team. I'm here in Meerbusch at the St. Mauritius Clinic, and this is where it all started. In 2018, we joined here for a hackathon, and 8 people, they were neurotherapists, rehab therapists, teachers, and computer scientists, met together to solve the challenge to create a virtual tool to help children with brain damage after a stroke or whatever. And our job was to find out if we can create something to help these children. And we did. We created Crystal Ball. And what's the magic about Crystal Ball? Jens will tell you now.
Thank you for your introduction, Birgit. My name is Jens. I'm part of the Crystal Ball team from the early days, and I can still remember the hackathon very well. Since then, the application has improved a lot, and me and my team, we could work on it for several times to improve it. I also remember when we had the first prototype based on the Microsoft HoloLens. It was really fun to do it. But I also remember when we decided to switch back to a smartphone application. And it has one huge advantage compared to these modern innovative devices. Those are pretty expensive and not a lot of people have access to those. Different from the smartphone, which a patient, a therapist, everyone has one of those in their pockets. We decided to develop an augmented reality application based on so-called markers. And these markers can be placed within the room and the therapy and the clinics, wherever the therapist wants them to have. Also, the patient, of course, can do it at home. And so you can build best therapeutic scenarios and level designs that are available. But let's have a look on how it really looks like. Let's get inside and have a look in the application. See you there. Alright, let's give you a short introduction to the Crystal Ball app. As you can see in the intro screen, we have several scenarios to be chosen from, but we will focus on the animals today. Also, we have some options and some instructions in this application. But let's have a little short look at the options where we can set the difficulty level, for example, and choose where the email with the report of the patients can be sent to later on. But when we start the application, you will see your mission is to find those 4 animals. Those are randomized, so the exercise will change with every time you start the application. Once we start the augmented reality view, you see there are some different markers in the room. Once you see and scan them, they will open up a magical world and show these little marker islands of graphical elements in the room. There are 1, 2, and 3. And while scanning those and preparing the scenario, I already forgot which animals I should have to look for. But no problem, I have the Crystal Ball, which is like an assistant also in your real life. It might give you some tips. It might give you some text tips where you can try to remember these exercises, these animals, to solve the idea. It also is able to capture a picture of this whole scenario, or you might even be able to take some notes on where the animals are hiding. Just imagine this is not only in a room, it would be in the whole therapy clinic, for example, and it's very helpful. In this case, I need real help, and I will look once more at the animals itself. So, where's the bear, the crocodile? Let's see. It's here or there. Here I can find a beer, and I want to bring that beer back to his base, to the home base. And definitely the snake is not of it. So once we collected all that animals within the room, we will succeed and finish the game. Well, that's it for now. So I'm giving back to Birgit, to Meerbusch, and see you later.
Thank you very much, Jens. And now Lucas Lorenz is going to show you the results of our feasibility study done here at the clinic in Meerbusch.
Hello, my name is Lucas Lorenz, and I'm going to talk to you about the feasibility study which we conducted for the Crystal Ball app. So in order to explore how people interacted with the app, we conducted a feasibility study for which we recruited 23 healthy participants and 25 neurologically impaired patients from the St. Mauritius Therapy Clinic. The patients had memory deficits, so they were representative of the kind of population that we wanted to target with the Crystal Ball app. All of them were between the age of 6 to 18, and we used several outcome measures to assess the feasibility of the app. First thing we found was that the ratio male to female was about the same in both groups, but the control group was a little bit older than the clinically impaired group. So then we used the Feasibility Questionnaire, and as you can see, both groups scored about the same on all the items regarding the feasibility. The biggest differences were in how they rated the difficulty of the app, and the control group found it a little bit too easy, while the clinically impaired group didn't, which was expected since the control group didn't have any memory deficits at all. But in terms of general attractiveness and user-friendliness and the accessibility of the app, they gave really high ratings. And this is also supported by the interview which we conducted later. Here we asked the patients whether they would like to play the app once again, and in both groups about 3/4 said that they would like to play again afterwards. In the interview we also asked them what they liked most about the app, and here we could find that the AR technology was really liked by the control group. They liked that they had to move around and that they had to search for stuff. The general concept of AR was they liked because they didn't have to sit in front of a computer screen. And for the clinically impaired group, they liked the therapeutic character, that they could improve their memory. They also liked the graphical presentation of the animal mode, and also the fact that they could move around. We also asked them what they didn't like about the app, and here we found that the technical difficulties were frustration for both groups, because sometimes the scanning of the markers took too long, or sometimes the platforms weren't really as stable as they should have been. We also found that the vegetable mode wasn't as graphically impressive as the animals, so they didn't like that as much. And as I said already, the control group also found the app a little bit too easy. So from our clinical observations, we found that children actually understood the AR technology really fast, and they understood the rules of the game. They were really curious to explore this new kind of therapy. But in both groups, you could see that they got really frustrated really fast if the technical stuff didn't work as they wanted it to. So lastly, I want to talk about the performance data. We found in the control group that they used all of the assistance functions, but didn't find them useful all of the time, while the clinically impaired group actually didn't use the assistance functions as much. But when they used them, especially the strategy function, they liked it a lot. So this tells us for further iterations of the development process that we want to better integrate these assistance functions and give incentives to the participants to actually use them and compensate for the memory losses in the real life. Thank you very much for listening, and now back to Birgit.
Let me introduce you to Dr. Müller, who got us all started and supported us the whole way along.
I'm Christina Müller. I'm the head of Neuropediatrics Neuro-Rehab for Children here. And we hosted in 2018 the hackathon, and we are very proud and glad that we could support both winner groups with their feasibility studies and the development of the prototype.